my lovelies, welcome back to my channel, and for everybody who's new, I'm Leorah and I'm so glad you found me. Okay sweeties, welcome to this look, which is going to be my review look of the Intergalactic palette from Jolie Beauty. This is what I've been working with this last week, and let me show you. So this is how she looks. Let me get this closer to you. It is a very colorful palette, super nice, and I love the color scheme. I love it from first sight. The second I saw it popping up on Instagram or Facebook, I'm not 100% sure where I saw it first, I love this palette and I ordered it basically immediately once I could. You know, that is a super beautiful, bright, big palette. It serves everything that I need. Of course, there are pressed glitters in this. I'm also going to speak about this a little bit later in the video. So just saying, I'm going to speak in depth about this palette. Of course, first of all, I'm going to show you all the looks that I have done with this palette. Okay sweeties, so now you saw all the looks. I think I have showed you a nice variety of what one can do with this palette. I have used everything in this palette, all of the shades. You know, I don't know how often I can say this palette. It's crazy. Okay, so anyway, before we go into creating this look, I'm going to show you, of course, the swatches. I'm going to film them separately and including them as a clip right here. And I'm not the best one at swatching, okay? So please cut me some slack. If you're new here, then you don't know. Everybody who has been with me for a while knows that I'm learning. I'm trying my best and I'm getting there, but just cut me some slack. But I'm trying to, like, you know, learning by doing. So anyway, that's what we're going to do now. But right after that, we are going to go into creating this look. And if you're new here, I just quickly want to explain, I always speed up my looks a little bit and then show you what I'm doing. And of course, then I'm going to come back with the finished look. And then this is going to be the review part at the end of the video. So if you're interested what my opinion is about the palette, and I do have a few things that I want to say about this, then please stay till the end of the video. So for now, I'm just hoping that you will enjoy my swatches and then we'll go right into creating this look. ladies, here we are with the finished look. This is how it turned out. I'm super, super glad. This was actually a very, very good experience with one drawback, which I will talk to you about in just a second. Okay, so this is how it looks. Okay, let's zoom in so you can get a bit of a closer look. Alright, so now let's chat a little bit about the palette. Okay, so we are of course talking about the Intergalactic palette from Jolie Beauty. First of all, this is stunning. I love this. You know, this is like the shifting packaging is so, I mean, the design, not the packaging is shifting. But anyway, this is really, really cool. It's cardboard packaging, really, really pretty. And then of course you have a mirror in here, a pretty, pretty large one. And then we have of course this super big palette, which is right up my alley. I loved that I could, you know, just dive into this palette and have so many options. Also with the glitters, you know, there are of course a couple of glitters here, which is this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. Okay, so I have worked with all of the shades, with all of them. I've tried them, not everything on a very huge surface, but anyway, I tried them all. Then we have of course shimmers. There are like 2 duochromes here. They are amazing, and of course this one I used today. There are 2 like iridescent shades. This one is leaning a little bit more blue. This is leaning a little bit more golden. This is what I used today in my inner corner. I have used this also a lot of times. You can also use those as topper shades. Really, really pretty. And then you have a couple of shimmers who are this one and this one. Is there another one? I don't think so. I think this could also be a satin. I'm honestly not 100% sure. But this one I used today as a shimmer, and everything else is mattes. I hope I'm not telling a lie here. But anyway, so this is what it is. Of course, you saw in the beginning all the looks that I have done. And I hope I gave you a nice variety of the things that can be done with this palette. Now, let's talk about my experience, okay? I have to be totally honest here. If I would have made a first impression video on this palette, it would have been a disaster, and I would have never gone back to this palette. So I am again super, super grateful that I'm not doing these kinds of things. I'm doing reviews and I'm working with the palette until I get the palette, until I understand how to work with it, how to like knock the boots off that palette. And that's what happened with this one. And it actually took me something like 3 looks till I got into it, which is strange because I had looked forward to using this and to working with this a long time. And I don't know, but sometimes this is just how it is, you know, especially when you're trying a new brand, because Jolie Beauty is of course for me a new brand. Sometimes that's how it is. Now the mattes performed really, really good from the get-go. The thing was only the first look that I did, I think I tried to blend this red into this black, or you know, the opposite, whatever it was, and that was a little bit tough, but that was just the first look. So first looks are always a little bit tough for me personally. It's never a smooth ride, never, you know. But anyway, I do get an impression, a first impression, but that is only really the first impression, and I do believe that that is not fair to a brand to then give that impression on video. It's just my personal opinion. So that's why what I'm doing here is reviews, okay? So anyway, so this is what we have here. Of course, the mattes, let's go back to the mattes, sorry. The mattes worked really, really well. And maybe you also saw how I used it today. I went in with the lightest shade first, which was this one, and then I built it up slowly. So maybe you saw that they are really, really nicely buildable and blendable. Absolutely no problem with this. Also, the shimmer worked super, super nice. The white one is a little bit thin, but I am also not that person that like loves to use white eyeshadows. I used it as a base for a glitter in one of my looks, and it was a little bit thin, but it is also a very, very light shade, you know, so I have to sort of take that into consideration too. I would definitely suggest for the iridescent shades and the duochromes to use a wet brush. That would definitely help. You do not need necessarily a glitter glue for those, which you can also do of course, but a wet brush would definitely help because there is some fallout involved in those shades too. And now let's go to the glitters, because they they almost killed me for the first 3 looks. I tried, and that is maybe my mistake, I tried to use them just the way they are, because sometimes with some brands the binder is so good that you don't even need glitter glue. But in this case, I have to say, please use glitter glue. I'm not saying that there is anything wrong with this palette. I want to make this really, really clear, okay? Because the palette is beautiful. The thing is that I just tried, because I'm trying. I'm always trying. I'm trying different things, different angles, and it doesn't work. There is fallout everywhere, and even today using glitter glue, I have a few specks, not a lot, it's not a big deal, but I have a few specks of glitter under my foundation now that I just couldn't take off. Okay, so the binder in the pressed glitters is maybe not the best that I've ever tried, but the shades, it works. It works on glitter glue. Okay, you just need a little bit of patience, and the shades themselves are absolutely beautiful. Absolutely stunning, beautiful. I love the whole idea behind this palette. I think also like the shade names, everything is of course around galaxy, around the I don't know, how does one say that? Space, outer space, right? Something like that. So and I think the color scheme and this whole thing that is going on here is super, super pretty. I have lusted after this palette the second I saw it the first time online, and I bought it on pre-sale. You know, it just took some time to get to me because of everything that's going on in the world right now, but this is spectacular. It's a spectacular palette, but for me personally it took some time to get into it. Now of course I'm always, after working like 5-6 days with one palette, I'm always looking forward to move on to the next thing, but I'm so glad that I pushed through, because if I wouldn't have pushed through, I would have told you don't get this palette. But it is a good palette. It is a really, really good palette. Just make sure that you use wet brushes or sprayed brushes for that matter for those iridescent shades and the duochromes, and use a glitter glue under the glitters. You know, so that's that. The good thing is that there is absolutely no staining. No staining, not even with these shades. Nothing. Also not with the purple or the blue or whatever. There is absolutely no staining. Creasing, I didn't notice. Fading, I never have a problem with it, but I just want to mention it anyway. Buildability, blendability, I mentioned already. Would I change anything? Well, what I just said, I would maybe work on the binder in the pressed glitters, but then again, it is also not such a big deal to just put it on a glitter glue. So that is cool. Dots, I don't think there are really dots in the palette. I don't think so. I mean, these shades are pretty close, like in color. Maybe one could have done something about that. Maybe have another like dark purple instead of one of those, like a matte, you know, because this one is not a matte. It's something. I don't know if it's a shimmer or a satin, but it's definitely not a matte. But other than that, I don't think I can say anything about this palette that I would change. It is a really, really pretty palette, you know. This actually, and I used this one today under my, like, to set my cut crease, you know, and that was actually a big surprise for me, because I didn't think that I would like a shade that is so like a yellow pastel so much, seriously. And here again, you can do even a pastel-y look with this palette, even though it is like a super vibrant and colorful palette. And those shades, those duochromes are absolutely stunning. Just saying, like, seriously, this is a really, really good palette, and I've grown to really, really love it. Now again, it was love at first sight when I bought it. It was not love at first sight when I started working with it, but again, this is how life is, you know. You do not always get like the first love romance but when you keep working at it, it turns out to be a great relationship, you know. So I really, really started to enjoy this palette, and I mean, you see the look that I've created, I think is super, super pretty. I'm super happy that this is basically the grand finals of me working with this palette. I've not done a winged out cut crease in a couple of weeks, and I was saving the greens. Some of the greens and teals and blues, of course, I have used before, but today I just went all in with my favorite eyeshadow color and just, you know, super happy about it. So let me know what you think. Let me know if you have worked with Jolie Beauty already. I know on her website there is a palette that I'm super, super eyeing, which is a palette that is sort of reds and orange, but also a lot of purple, which could sort of maybe dupe for the Jaclyn Hill #2, you know, because just say. Anyway, in case you are interested, that could maybe be something. I am super interested in that one, but let's see what happens. I have so much to work with right now, but that is definitely on my radar, because I definitely want to have a palette that gives me that color scheme. So anyway, that is what it is. Of course, you will find everything that I've used in my look today in the description box down below. Leave me your comments. Let me know what you think about this look and about the performance, or if you have experience with Jolie Beauty. And besides that, of course, if you're new here, I would love it if you were to subscribe to my channel, and I will see you here next time for my next video. And up until then, definitely go ahead and sparkle. Hugs and kisses. Bye.